impressed by.
Let's see.
Calling you out.
Wow.
But that's next week. Shall we get back to this game and see if Morgana makes it through? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
There is the ban. So there are two new bans.
Dexter is making it very clear that he's in agreement with the Morgana ban.
But let's see what's going to happen here for the Unicorns. Will they first pick the Maokai now and take it away from Gambit and Cabochard? It was such an important pick in game 1 for the strategy. Obviously, Cabochard has a massive champion pool. He played like 10 different champions during the split, and will for sure have something ready against it. But this is 2 new bans from Gambit, so they target this long-range comp. And this pick, or this ban here, honestly, we somewhat expecting it because he's been so annoying and so good at shutting down the Rek'Sai pick from Diamond. He hasn't really had too much of an impact because Kikis has been there to counter-gank him and just slap him in the face and walk away every time.
Oh dear, Gambit removing it from the game, completely changing their pick ban strategy. Cassiopeia and Annie are the 2 champions that have been banned in every other match that were removed from Unicorns. They've not opted for either and instead prioritized the Maokai. So this is the first drastic change all series long.
And now also Nidalee being left open for the first time, but you can still go Rek'Sai here if you want to match some of the early aggression for the Unicorns of Love. And they're getting Jinx now for Pinoy, a guy who's honestly not been performing this series here. He's been caught too many times by Hylissang, and I would not be surprised to see Thresh coming in for him. Somewhat the same deal. The problem is you lack a Black Shield, which obviously is very, very good against these big tanks trying to CC your carries.
The one thing I do like about the Thresh lock-in is not only do you deny that from Edward, who's played it 8 times in the regular season, but you also remove that big safety lantern from Jinx.
Yeah.
Pinoy's been out of position all series long, and now the biggest safety partner for Jinx has been secured for Hylissang. Keep in mind he is 0-4, so Hylissang looking
Can
for
still go Janna though.
First win. I don't know, I always prefer Jinx just for the safety factor. But yes, you are right. Eddie has played Janna all series.
Yeah.
And Vardags going back to Sivir once more.
That should offer enough peel for the Jinx pickup. So Gambit ran a comp like this, or at least the start of this comp, against Elements, where it's built around fast pushing that Ezreal mid lane for Betsy in that comp simply because of the attack speed buff he had in, the extra poke, the long range, the Truce of Barrage to obviously focus on the side lanes as well, so they can build some of the same comp and run this fast pushing long range poke as well from them. Let's see what they decide to lock in. For now, there's no disengage with the Janna, and we have seen obviously Nautilus quite a few times in the support role. Not from Eddie, but from other supports.
Definitely the case. Lemonation, the most prolific fan, I think is fair. Spamming it, talking about it excessively, and it will be in Eddie's hands this time round. Not the same sort of hook city we're used to seeing on Thresh and Blitz. Cabochard on the Hecarim, and let's see, PowerOfEvil, what is he going to opt to play?
Well, he has no... Well, he still has Orianna from game 2, so that's fine for him if he still wants to go for these late game carries here. He doesn't know the mid lane pick. Orianna is fantastic and safe in there, especially also with their Athene's buffs here on 5.6. It is still a very slow scaling champion, which did hurt them in game 1. This is very different, however, now if he goes for Syndra, where we're gonna get a lot more lane pressure for the Unicorns, and they have a setup.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Shaco is locked in for the first time in 2015. The craziness is continuing. And PowerOfEvil on his signature Syndra.
I don't want to be Betsy in this game, because from level 2, you're going to get camped by a Syndra and a Shaco, which can destroy you so easily. He's going to need a safe mid laner here against PowerOfEvil. I didn't expect to see Shaco today. Like, we're talking so much about Cinderhawk tanks and everything, and now we get the complete opposite. Pure early game control, potential split push late game as well from Kikis. Such a high risk, high reward champion for them to pick. I mean, sure, they're 2-1.
If anybody's gonna pull it off,
right,
it is Kikis. And you know, we said this earlier, when Kikis played Nidalee the first time, he picked up first blood within 3 minutes just by making great use of her aggressive play. He is a guy that can do it. He won with Jungle Twisted Fate last year.
I agree, yeah.
I think this This version of Kikis is the most successful. Obviously, he's in the quarterfinal.
If there's anything I've
but
learned
let's see what he can do.
in this meta is there's no bad picks. All of them can find some way of being useful. Now, this obviously here means for the Unicorns, they have a fantastic mid-game, a fantastic mid lane in terms of the ganking potential, the setup from a Syndra. That's also why Ezreal comes in. We also talked about how it works with Nidalee and Jinx for this fast push. So Gambit somewhat running what they did against Elements. Basically what you do is you have the Jinx at a tower, you heal her with the Nidalee, you W her with the Ezreal, and she just melts your tower completely. So if you don't have proper wave clear to deny it, your towers will go down. They have Sivir and Syndra though from Unicorn, so they have good wave clear. But that's why you play around the Maokai instead. From Gambit's side here, I expect them to swap and start pushing down their tower in the top lane. And then once the first tower is gone, then start swapping around the map and try and play away from where the Syndra is, away from where the Sivir is, so they can always fast push the towers. And obviously, deep wards are going to be so important now against the Shaco. Otherwise, he's going to just jump in from behind and kill you in the lane. Man, I don't want to be Bitsy now.
Gambit played exquisitely when they played the map against Elements in week 8.
Yes.
It was the match that had the difficulties, but they played it perfectly. And tower after tower after tower fell. This time around, UOL would have watched that game, would have prepared it coming in. We'll see whether or not the Sivir-Syndra combo will be enough to deny that fantastic map-based play.
Yeah, they do have a lot better mid-game than Elements ran. Elements had like Kassadin and a Jinx, if I remember correctly. It was Illusion. Then had the Kassadin in the mid lane who did nothing because he needed so much time to scale. They had no wave clear.
Yeah.
And that's what Gambit used to simply just take down towers. Wherever Froggen was sitting on Kassadin, tower would die. This game, they won't be able to do the same. A lot better mid-game from Unicorns a lot with Syndra in that mid lane with the Shaco as well, who's also having a pretty decent late game in terms of the damage he can deal, especially in a split push if he gets to use his clone.
Fantastic split push opportunity. Just to give you guys a heads up, Diamond's PC does need to just quickly reconnect. I'm not sure if they're swapping it out. We'll get clarification on that in a second. That's the serious note. As a joke, his PC doesn't even want to play against Shaco. Because let's be frank, nobody does. Whenever you see a Shaco in game, it's always one of those things where your Shaco is 0-6 and their Shaco is 6-0. They always...
Okay, that's true.
Look, everybody's laughing, but it's true. They know what I'm talking about. For everybody that hates solo queue Shacos, see, that's a clap.
Here's the thing, though, about this pick. It's still, when you play against Shaco, if you manage to stop him, first of all, from getting a great start way with the boxes, and he gets like a quick red buff and he invades on your red buff, if you can avoid that, so like if Kikis starts, if they manage to scout where Shaco is starting and he starts on the same side, he avoids that, somewhat cheesy. You do your red buff, you walk over to the enemy red buff, and you just wait for him there and you kill him. You can avoid that if you start on the same side. If they manage to spot him, that is. You can also go and try and stop the boxes. That's a little bit more risky. The first few ganks are going to be super important for Kikis because he is still a champion. If he wants to become a late game split pusher, he needs to get kills early on. He doesn't farm well enough to just sit like a Udyr, for instance, who just sits there and gets 100 CS easily.
He got early kills on Udyr.
Yeah, sure, I'm just saying.
If he can, surely in theory the option's there.
I love Kikis. I love the things he's bringing, and I hope it works, because it's a new pick and it's fantastic to see, but it's such a high-risk, high-reward champion.
Well, I would set my sights on the lane wherever Pinoy is. He's been out of position. He's on an immobile AD carry. He's got no safety.
I would go top lane where there's a Hecarim with no flash, and I have a Maokai who clicks W and says, ha.
So look at this one. There's 2 options now.
They are.
So
I would also go mid lane when Syndra is there and she stuns the
early game again could determine this game.
Very much.
In the previous games, while UOL did not necessarily win early game, Gambit did not necessarily in games 2 and 3, I mean now. Gambit did not necessarily win so heavily that the game was there, theirs to control. So for UOL, we'll see what they can do because there's scaling options on both sides, just in very different ways.
Yeah, and just very different setup from the Unicorns, with Morgana being banned away, and I guess Udyr as well. So a few new bans from Gambit. This is no longer a full late game poke composition. No, this is very much mid-game focused, a lot of burst damage coming from the mid lane, and of course the Shaco, who has to fight these skirmishes, don't really want to go run into a straight team fight where there's a chance you get locked down, unless, again, you get the flank on the AD carry and you manage to destroy him, because the Jinx is not going to run anywhere.
Exhaust Smite on that Shaco. We'll see what he decides to itemize.
Split pushing.
All day long. Guys, just another update. As we said already, Diamond's PC is actually being swapped out, so the game has loaded up. We've paused it at the moment. And the moment that Diamond is on a working machine, we'll be back into this game, which could be the last of the European quarterfinals. Don't go anywhere because afterwards we will be seeing Gravity taking on Team Impulse in the North American quarterfinals.
Yeah,
but
yesterday.
With some luck, we'll make them wait because with some luck, Gambit can win this one and get us to Game 5.
But then Shaco lose.
I'll admit, that's fine. I don't mind Shaco losing. I don't like Shaco.
Well, you should.
No, I don't. I like Kikis. I don't like Shaco. I'm going to lay it out there, be honest.
Okay. Wow, harsh words.
Look, no, it's just, you know...
I think it's fantastic fun to look at.
So is Kikis.
They're looking very focused. Obviously, you're not allowed.
It's a difficult situation to be in. This is a difficult situation to be in. You come into the very last game. If anything, extra time to think about how you handle this Shaco pick.
Yeah, the problem for Gambit is... So Gambit, obviously, after the last game, they went out backstage. They talked and said, okay, why are we losing? Some of these new picks here is annoying us. Not new picks, but at least some of these picks are very annoying. So let's ban them away and try and hope for more standard, maybe, from the Unicorns of Love. And they got 4 very standard picks. We've seen Vardags play Sivir multiple times. We know PowerOfEvil is a Syndra player. And then Kikis is like, nah, it's not going to be too easy. And he throws in a completely new pick, which you obviously have no practice against. And now you got to rely on your solo queue experience of saying, how do I counter Shaco normally in solo queue? And use that in Shaco, sorry, not Shaco. Shaco is the Danish version.
I'm going to tell you now, if it is officially Shaco or officially Warwick or Warwick, I'm afraid I'm going to call it Shaco. Everyone will know. Let us know, guys. Hit us up on Twitter for potentially last time. Who do you think will book their ticket to Madrid, Spain with the help of the Clown, or if Gambit will bounce us back and force us to Game 5 at LOL Esports, hashtag UOL win, hashtag GMB win. And also, if you call it Shaco or Shaco, let us know that as well. As we are into game, the first box is down into defensive one.
So, Gambit, we expected him to get some deep wards in here, try and spot where the Shaco is starting.
Oh, are we gonna do that? Okay.
Well, I said the Danish version before, like Shaco.
I've only ever known it as Shaco.
Shaco.
Well, the box is down. Advantage Gambit. Where is Kikis for the moment?
Starting on the bottom side. So just by having these wards here, if they place him just around now on the walls on the Grom, they're going to see if he's setting it up. Well, they got the one on Grom. That's the important one, at least. So they're going to see he's starting on the bottom side. And Gambit might look for a lane swap in this situation. We mentioned how they want to use Jinx to fast push down a tower. So that's why they want to potentially swap her. But you also want to make sure that Diamond gets a safe start, where there's not a red buff Shaco standing at level 2, killing you.
Lots of wards from Gambit, as you've highlighted. Pinoy and Edward waiting to move to lane. They're going to move with the minions, but obviously be fully spotted. They're going to head themselves into the 2v2 lane. Shaco is clearing out those
Diamond starting on red side. Kikis, when he played Twisted Fate at IEM San Jose, did his own red buff, and he rushed straight into the jungle of Team Solo Mid. Might not have been that game, I think of something else, but there's one of those games where he just did the red buff, and then he rushed straight into the enemy blue buff, and he caught out whatever jungler it was and killed him at IEM San Jose. He might look to do exactly the same here, because Diamond is starting on the top side. They obviously don't know, because they didn't have a ward on the blue buff. They just saw that there was no pull, at least, from the bottom lane of Gambit as they spotted them on the ward here. So Diamond is rocking to his blue buff. Let's see what Kikis wants to do.
Keep an eye. He was clearing out that red buff. Level 2 at that point into 2 Shiv Poison. We'll have access to Deceive in a moment or
Gambit has a good ward as well to try and spot him in the river.
Smart play against the Shakers of the world that like to hide in a bush and kill you when you're low. Nidalee, though, has got relatively good clear speed and sustain. Starting on this blue buff. And that ward just timed out. So relatively safe in the knowledge that Kikis was not pushing into his jungle. And we are going to see head-to-head lanes. Once again, a little bit of a farm lane in the middle. But this time around, PowerOfEvil maybe with slightly more opportunity to bully Betsy.
Oh, way more. Way more on this Syndra for him. And obviously Ezreal is not going to offer a whole lot of damage or a lot of pressure for Gambit in his mid lane. He's mainly just a farm champion. But it's fine because, again, the comp is built around being able to rotate the Jinx in and out of the lanes and then push down these towers. It's the whole setup for them. You can also do it just with the Nidalee. But Hylissang, on another champion that can land some skill shots and pull in targets. No Black Shield this time around, which is going to be the difference for him. Let's see if Pinoy can dodge around in this lane, because it's been the big problem. All 3 games, he's been caught and he's been killed.
Hylissang and Vardags, the ones that have pushed the wave up first, way more wave clear early. And Diamond, once again, trying to hang out in this top lane, but the wave is too far pushed. There's no opportunities. Instead, he's going to set some sights on that Scuttle Crab. Edward, dredge lines in, does get the slow onto Hylissang, but unable to get more. And Hylissang catches the minion. Hey, it's still 100% hit. Still 100% hit.
So I like what Diamond has done here. We talked about how Hecarim has no flash, and that would be a fairly easy gank for Kikis. Notice how he's invested a lot of his early vision on the top side of the map, and also he's staying around it to see if a gank should happen, and then he can go for the counter gank. He's always around Cabochard here on the Hecarim. That was the mistake Unicorns made in game 1, where they just left the Hecarim on his own, and he got camped by Diamond multiple times. Killed and ended up doing absolutely nothing.
Kikis is yet to back, sitting on 1,000 gold.
He's just expecting that gank.
Smart play by Kikis, taking advantage. Ooh, a little low, but pretty greedy start. Death Sentence goes wide. Edward sidesteps it, keeping the minions away from the tower as long as possible. And finally, Pinoy's going to keep farming, so no advantages gained either way. Very, very early Moby Boots there for Kikis. Let's see what he can do around the map. Previously went for Boots of Swiftness on Udyr as an early buy. This time around, Moby Boots. Death Sentence connects onto Pinoy, as does the Boomerang Blade. That's a 2-man flay, and Hylissang gets rooted. Next up, Vardags. Pinoy in full retreat. Summoner Heal was traded in exchange for Summoner Exhaust, and Hylissang showing he can connect the Death Sentences as well as Dark Binding.
That's the thing. You ban Morgana, but you give him Thresh, another champion he's so good on when it comes to landing skill shots. He's been one of the best players today, forcing Pinoy back now, or at least he actually recalled, or cancelled it, sorry, because Diamond is now down his bottom lane.
Well, let's see what they can do. Diamond looking to get in range. No mana on Edward. Death Sentence actually connects, and Vardags even able to spell shield up.
That opens up for Kikis now. They saw Diamond on the bottom lane. Look what Kikis is doing now. Top side. Can they lock down Cabochard? They will. Let's see what Kikis can do onto him. The exhaust is already used.
Cabochard's in trouble. He's going to get taken down. First blood to the Unicorns of Love.
But that's it. I mean, you have no flash. And as soon as Diamond shows himself, because his bottom lane is in problems, he has to go down there and help them. And then Cabochard gets ganked and gets killed. So simply by, again, Unicorns of Love doing well in the 2v2 lane, they set up such an easy gank for Kikis.
That works out in their favor. Kikis on that Shaco, working in his favor. Got a confirmation from our stats guys. That's the 71st. There are now 71 champions, unique, that have been picked or banned 2015 in the LCS. That is a very large number. We're seeing more and more. 5.4, 5.5, 5.6 patches are bringing so much excitement.
Yeah, but no Swain.
Doesn't
even matter.
Makes you very sad. Take a look at that. Hylissang and Vardags joining Kikis in the Dragon Pit.
He played Swain, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It all matters. In EU LCS, sorry, it's not being played.
True Shot Barrage. Is it going to steal? That is the question. The answer is no. Got me excited for nothing. Unicorns, early Dragon, early First Blood, and early advantage. This Kikis deceives his way away. Despite having Exhaust, also got Skirmisher Saber. So if there was ever an indication that he wanted to battle, duel, and fight in split push way, he's definitely got the skill set to do so.
Yeah, you can't really do a whole lot else on a Shaco. Your poke is not the greatest. Just run up and E people. They're like, ha, great. Diamond, though, has now realized I need to be around Cabochard, otherwise he's gonna die again. So he's back on the top side. Didn't have any wards to place in the jungle. That's what Gambit needs against the Shaco. You have to get deep wards in so you can spot him before he moves to the lanes, because he has so many different ways of starting a gank. And it's so hard to ward around the lanes. Just spotting like that small ward you see on the top side in the bush near the river is not gonna stop Kikis from getting into the top lane. You can even just deceive over the wall and yourself, and the ward won't see you to get into the lane itself. So Gambit needs deep wards against him.
I'll see if they can get them down. It's pronounced Shaco, not Shaco. That's how I read it. That's how you're making me read it. That's how I read it. Or Shaco, not Shaco. Why is everyone trolling us today? Meteos.
I don't know.
He's going to chime in. That's a box actually used, as is on the hand. Vardags is going to spell shield the roots, and Edward forced to flash away. Death sentence from Hylissang, almost costing Edward his life. And look at the item difference. This time around, it's Vardags with the BF sword and the additional AD. I really wanted to highlight very quickly, no boots yet for Diamond versus the Moby boots of Kikis. Deficio, you're talking on how Diamond has to respond to the counter gank, so be around the threat of a Shaco gank. It's so much harder when he's got all of that mobility and the deceive to hop over every single wall.
Well, the thing is, as long as you live in his jungle, it's fine. And if you're strong enough to duel him, oh, let's see, TP in the bottom lane. Pinoy, my friend, you're on your own.
Well,
and just to make it worse, we had to see a hook land as well.
Not a whole lot Pinoy could do about that one. Full knowledge Edward had backed thanks to the death sentence earlier. And that's actually super decisive play from the Unicorns. There was no minions under that turret. The TP from Chachi kept that last little guy alive. And they punish, get a kill on the board, get the first tower on the board, and set themselves up with a small advantage.
I hate to be the grumpy one, but I don't think that was worth it.
Okay, tell me why.
You're already winning your bottom lane, and you will slowly push down that tower anyway. So I don't see why you have to surrender your top tower to make that play, to get one kill and TP as well, which is now in favor of Gambit. Yes, you got a first, but that was great. But you also traded a top tower, which you could have defended fairly easily. So I guess you can argue, was it good?
We will find out.
Depends on what the next play is gonna be, but you were already winning that bottom lane pretty hard, and you already gonna get it in. Wow, that's a lot of damage.
Big hit, but True Shot Barrage used to push the wave down. Gambit, they are the ones that have grouped up. Another Javelin toss connects Death Sentence onto Diamond as the minions get dropped, and Diamond forced to flash away. Doesn't matter what Hylissang plays today, he will connect with those skill shots. And the fans once again behind the Shaco of Kikis and the Unicorns of Love, 74%.
PowerOfEvil on to Betsu, oh, forcing a flash.
Two quick flashes in that middle lane.
Just have a CS lead, obviously, on the Syndra, but what Gambit is looking to do now is once you got this top tower, you open up the lane for the Hecarim to push it all the way down and then roam from the top lane to the mid lane where they can set up a very simple siege. The problem is they're losing this mid tower, so now they, funny enough, still need deep wards. The problem is when you lose your mid tower, you don't have anywhere safe to run if you're hitting the enemy tier 1 tower. So you suddenly need, for more than one reason, the deep wards in the jungle here to spot the engage coming from the Unicorns so you can run away in time and you don't have to rely on this tower, which is now dead for you. So this really opens up the map for the Unicorns to get in. And that obviously, or that could have been the reason for them going for that TP play to kill Pinoy with 4 guys, even though they could most likely have done with 3 as well. But going for that play, just get that outer turret down, then the mid lane, and you suddenly open up the entire map.
We'll see what they decide to prioritize. We did see Kikis backing, dragging himself a pickaxe and longsword. I was looking at the items. He actually very quickly picked up a rejuvenation bead before deciding to sell that and grab the wards instead. So
Tiamat and Brutalizer.
Gonna get himself so much more damage. Behind in CS to Diamond. Diamond spent a good amount of time in his jungle.
And this again here. So this again now falls back to the play they just made before where they forced that tower down. Is because Dragon isn't up yet, they're already winning the mid lane. They can now swap Vardags and Hylissang to the top lane and start pushing down on the next one. Hecarim doesn't have enough wave clear to stop them from dealing damage to the tower. Kikis is nearby. You don't have TP and Vizicsacsi, so there's a play to be made here for Gambit, but they gotta make it now, otherwise this tower is going down. So clearly the Unicorns feel like by fast pushing down the towers, that was worth more than obviously saving that TP from Chachi beforehand to get the kill on the bottom lane. And this is just a very nice play, suddenly making the play before very worth it for them. 2,000
gold lead as we hit 13 minutes on the clock, 20 seconds before the next Dragon. Infinity Edge completed for Vardags. Luden's Echo completed for PowerOfEvil. A lot of item spikes that's going to work into their favor. Contrast that to Cabochard, he's just sitting on home guard boots for the time being. Teleport is available, but Chachi is in place for this next Dragon bout. And it looks like that's where Unicorns are going to set their sights. Hylissang, he's way forward, connects with a death sentence onto Edward, follows it through with the secondary, puts the box down in the middle of the jungle, and Edward is in full retreat. Kikis down to 100 HP, less down. It was actually the clone. Even I got baited by that one. And Pinoy, so close. Now, Unicorns, they are low. Kikis.
Cabochard is going to have Home Guard and TP, and yeah, with these low members, if he managed to engage correctly, Gambit can still turn around this fight. Betsy's on full HP. It's a TP.
Well, there we go. He's jumped forward, caught 3 people with the onslaught of shadows. Cabochard continues to run forward. Ignite is burning away. PowerOfEvil is down, and the dragon has been stalled out. Gambit now set their sights on that objective. Can they secure it? Kikis and the rest of Unicorns looking to engage. Kikis does go over with the deceive, but unable to get the smite. Not even used there, I don't think. Gambit able to get their first objective and their first kill after a teleport home guard engage.
That was also despite being behind in terms of items. If you look at the carries, Luden's Echo had already been completed for PowerOfEvil. Infinity Edge for Vardags that was not ready from Pinoy here. So the carries were slightly behind from Gambit and still managed to win the fight. Obviously, the Shaco here is not the greatest team fight in the world. And that's going to be a big deal. Not that Nidalee is herself, but she's going to add a lot of poke to the start of Gambit. And with this Tiamat being completed and Brutalizer later, we're going to get a lot of wave clear coming in, or fast pushing ability, I think we should say instead, from Kikis, which obviously is going to be the goal for him, become a split pushing threat. Just the fact he has his ulti quickly makes it a 2v1 fight.
So 15 minutes have gone by, 1,000 gold. Unicorn still marginally in the lead. The tower pushing comp that Gambit put together has not been able to push towers. Well, so let's see if they can scale themselves up. Unicorns, an aggressive play worked in their favor, and they just steamrolled ahead.
Yeah, that's very true, and no real focus on getting wards in the jungle of the Unicorns of Love. Almost at any given time for Gambit has made it very hard for them to move around on the map. And as we mentioned earlier, when this mid tower is gone, you can still group on in the mid lane, but it's just so much harder for you to do because you have nowhere to run. If you get engaged on now by the Unicorns, you're not going to get back to your T2 tower in time. But they are doing the right play here. You see, Sheen has been completed for Betsy, so he's going to start doing a lot of damage on towers. Kikis is going to try and force them away.
Edward.
Quite some damage.
Throughout the dredge line, not able to connect with the champion, but Kikis able to, as you mentioned, put enough damage on a Betsy to push him backwards. Gambit playing defensively this game with a team comp that's not necessarily focused around team fighting or that mind. We'll see how they handle their mid game. It's been Gambit's engages in the previous matches that Unicorns were able to punish. They got to be a little more careful about how they decide to bring themselves in this game. Because remember, one more win for Unicorns and they book their ticket to Spain. They book that battle with SK Gaming.
Oh, Kikis getting a ward in, going to try and jump on Pinoy. Diamond is nearby. See what's going to happen. Not a whole lot. And now Kikis, he's in trouble.
Well, let's see. Deceive, 5 seconds on the clock before he can jump away. Gets caught by the Javelin toss, sidesteps the Super Mega Death Rocket, and the mark from Diamond's going to reveal the real Kikis. Javelin toss, one more, can it
Lantern
hit?
on its way.
We do see the clone actually jumps in, and the Lantern to safety. Kikis manages to make it out. Smart pickup for that Thresh, especially if you're going to be roaming between lanes and letting Kikis try shove them out quickly. Hylissang can save Kikis over and over if he ever needs it. Between the clone and the dashes and the deceives.
We just got a taste of what Unicorns wants to do here with the 1-3-1 setup. Kikis in one lane, obviously Vizicsacsi in the other one with the teleport, pushing them down. Gambit don't really have anyone who can stop it late game, but they have some good engage on the Nautilus, on the Hecarim to start the fights instead. And that's where Kikis won't be able to join. He obviously has 0 global presence as a jungler. So if he's sitting in a lane, if Unicorns doesn't play correctly, basically what's going to happen is if Kikis is pushing too far up his lane, or he's standing too far back in his lane, and the rest of the team is too far up in their own lane, Gambit will engage. That was a lot of small things. The point is, 1-3-1 against hard engage. If every lane isn't pushing at the same time, and you can take a tower on the other side of the map, if someone is getting ganked or engaged on, then you're failing your 1-3-1. Because then it's way too easy for Gambit to respond, get a kill, force you to now reset your whole split push and back away. And therefore Gambit can then get into these team fights, can maybe get an objective and get some gold, which they need obviously to get on these AD carries here. So we're gonna have to see if the Unicorns can play the 1-3-1 correctly. One guy staying too far back or staying too far up can stop your whole split push from happening and reward a kill to Gambit.
We will find out if Unicorns can control all of the lanes. Ravenous Hydra completed for Kikis, has yet to upgrade his jungle item, just sticking on that challenging smite.
Really putting so much focus on getting that AoE damage over a warrior enchant on the Shaco for him. Just rushing towards it. He's back in his lane. Meanwhile, Dragon is spawning in about a minute's time. And you can see how Unicorns are staying around it. They know that's going to be next objective.
Look at all three lanes, Deficio. You were touching how they had to be sort of in sync. And it does look like they are. Kikis has found the back of Cabochard. He's hallucinated himself and rushes forward. Has managed to push Cabochard away, but look at all of that damage. Really easy win. Keeps the tower under pressure. And will steal away jungle camps as well.
The ult is a big deal though, fast pushing down towers for Kikis here, so with that being on cooldown, it does open up for the hard engage.
That's a flash dredge. Hylissang is caught out of place. The depth charge threw him up in the air, and that was a spell shield on the super mega death rocket. Now Vizicsacsi forced a flash over the flame chompers, and Diamond is a little out of position. We do see Unleashed Power's already been used, and the javelin toss is side stage. While all this is going on, Kikis is pushing the tower. Chachi gets caught by one more hook, and it's Betsy that takes him out. Dragon spawns in 4 seconds, but is a risky play. If Gambit decide to stick around, no mana on PowerOfEvil, they're traded a kill for a tower.
Yeah, that took a little bit longer for Gambit to get the kills than they had hoped for. They just wanted to blow up one target and then get back and defend against Kikis here while still be able to take the Dragon with 4 members against 3 of the Unicorns of Love. But that didn't happen because they managed to disengage at first. Not sure there was a lantern from Hylissang doing quite some work. And also this mid lane tower now taking a lot of damage. So Gambit invested way too much into one kill by losing 2 towers for it. It was a good play to make, but you gotta blow up that one target instantly then, so you can recall and defend.
Did not happen. Unicorns get 2 towers, despite losing a dragon and a kill. So, gonna be in a happy position. I did see the True Shot Barrage trying to snipe somebody off. It didn't work out, but, you know, the Shaco,
yeah,
the decision-making in the strats, Unicorns are executing it well.
And that's where you saw how powerful it is when you have such a strong split pusher. Because he was at the tower already, he'd already pushed the lane up. Had he been stuck, let's say at his own tier 2 or tier 1 tower, Gambit could have made that play, engaged, got the kills, recalled in time to even catch the wave and not even take any damage on the tier 2. That's why it's so important that these lanes are being pushed up and you have proper warding as well in the jungle, so you can see if anyone is coming for any ganks, so you can react on the other side of the map in time.
Well, it makes a lot of sense talking about warding. The Unicorns have upgraded 3 of their trinkets to the yellow trinkets and got themselves Sightstone on the support, so going to be trying to get as many wards around the map once again to allow mobility. We did see PowerOfEvil. He'd been sitting on a Fiendish Codex and a blasting one for a very long time. He's just completed his second sort of big ticket item, the Morella Nomicon. Going to use that to spam out those Dark Spheres over and over. Gambit pushing the middle lane. They do not have Pinoy. He seems to be relegated to bottom lane defense. As you can see, Kikis has finally upgraded his warrior enchant.
Kikis is free to do whatever he wants. There's no TP for Cabochard. They're gonna need that. He does back away because Gambit is moving through the jungle. As long as you, the Unicorns of Love, keeps the lane pushed up and get 2 or 3 wards in the jungle of Gambit, they should be able to spot every single play they're trying to make on Kikis and give him enough time to escape. He has a ward here. Diamond is staying on the other side of the wall. That's a nice little play.
Let's see if he can win the trade. The hallucinated clone is running Diamond down. He's even recruited the Gromp to help out.
Now he's killing it.
Gonna be able to take that clone
Horrible
out.
boss.
The one thing we've got to keep our eye on is that True Shot Barrage. It could become very important to help managing the split push of Kikis. It's not gonna kill an entire wave, but could at least reduce the effect of pushing power. Diamond, again, still looking for a fight. Does land the Javelin toss, gets instantly feared, takes out 2 Jacks in the boxes. And Kikis is just pulling the aggro. He's pulling the attention.
And then you
of
look
Gambit.
at the mid lane. 3 guys pushing up the mid lane because they know there's 2 people on the bottom side. And as long as these lanes are being pushed, UOL can keep moving around the map and always have a numbers advantage because nobody can one-on-one the Shaco from them. Kikis, this guy's been pulling out some crazy picks in this series in the past. For now, it's really working for him and the Unicorns.
Teleport not available for Cabochard. 15%, rather 25% of its cooldown just ticked by. Gambit have been able to stall out that last period of pushing. There was no inner turret on the top or middle to push. So Unicorns, their only remaining lane turret is in this bottom lane. And I think Gambit well aware of that one. Invested some wards, invested attention. So yes, Kikis was pulling the aggro, but it's also the only non-inhibitor turret left for them to push.
And it's going to be a lot harder for the Unicorns to keep split pushing once this last tier 2 is gone. Because that's where you have to break into the base, and it's very easy for Gambit to move the short distance here between the lanes and defend against the Shaco and of course against the other members in the mid lane from the Unicorns. So that's where they have to play more around the Baron later on. But for now, goal is still this tier 2 tower. Vardags managed to get the red buff for himself. Leviathan, he doesn't care.
Yeah, focus looks from the coaches. You can take that red buff. Focus looks from those coaches. Sheepy, while in the stronger position, still needs to get ahead. Kikis gets caught out a little bit, but it's actually the damage on a Cabochard significantly higher. That bonus damage from hitting the pony in the back and a Ravenous Hydra. Kikis, honestly, it's going to need way more than a Hecarim to handle this jungler.
All Gambit can do right now is just damage control. You stay back, you try and defend your tower for as long as possible, and then you wait for the entire map to reset. You wait for Unicorns to go back and buy. And you can see the lanes now being built up. And that's where you can make a play before the Kikis wave is being pushed down to your tower with the TP home guard from the Hecarim. Before that, it's really hard for you to do anything.
Oh, death sentence onto Diamond. He's down before the teleport can complete. Cabochard in full retreat, but he onslaughts back in. Does manage to fear PowerOfEvil. Where is the rest of the team, though? In comes Edward and Pinoy, trying to get some damage down, but Cabochard is out. We do see Betty landing a kill crit onto Vardags, and the True Shot Barrage is flying through. Kikis is taking the tower in the bottom lane, and despite some kills for Gambit, they lose the fight, they lose the tower. And he's going to try and interrupt Chachi. Actually, it's going to get turned around. Support comes in, forced to flash. Gambit in what was a 5v4 lose, and they lose their last remaining inner turrets.
Such a tough situation to be in. You cannot even sit in your own jungle and do the Raptor camp. Then Unicorns can just walk down behind you. They have control of this jungle. Look at the wards they've placed already. Diamond has no business here. He shouldn't be in here on his own. I mean, that's an easy pick for them. And then Cabochard now blown that teleport. Meanwhile, look at your minimap. Shaco is just pushing on his own. And the rest of Unicorns of Love can trade 1 for 2, which is more than fine for them. Dragon has been taken as well now.
To be fair, Diamond was blown up so quickly at the beginning of the fight. It was a 4v4. Thanks to the fact that Diamond again was on the wrong side of his team. Think of his Rek'Sai performance from the previous match in the series. Diamond was trying to pull the attention of UOL straight too close to the danger zone and got punished for it.
Yeah, but you can't do it when Shaco's already standing at your tower. That's again what they had to do, was wait for Unicorns of Love to, let's say, go Dragon, take the Dragon, go back and buy your items because you now farmed up a lot of gold. And then the whole map is reset. You can see the lanes, you can push them out. And before Shaco gets in position to hit your tower, you make a TP play with the Hecarim. And you get 1 or 2 kills. Like, you have to go for some of these risky plays now. And you use those kills to then get a Baron. Or get a tower or 2. And that's the way for you back in the game. If you wait till Shaco's already standing at your tower and you force a play somewhere, you have to basically win 4 for 0. Otherwise, it's not going to be worth it because Shaco is going to take your tower.
Well, Shaco went back, spent 2,600 gold, grabbed himself a Sheen, grabbed himself a Zeal. Has now got a 40 CS advantage over Diamond since UOL have controlled most of the map. And remember, coming out of the first 10 minutes, Kikis was in fact down 20 CS to Diamond's Nidalee. But he spent so much time in the lane, so much time pushing out those waves. A Rylai's third item from PowerOfEvil, if there was more indication that they wanted to drag out fights, slow people, survive,
Kite.
keep going as long as possible. Even the itemization is working in Unicorn's favor.
The longer they kite, the more damage Kikis will do to the base of Gambit. And as we mentioned now, that only the inhibitor turrets are left. It becomes harder for him to push unless a fight happens and Kikis is left on his own. You can see Pinoy can very easily move from the mid lane to the bottom lane to clear the wave before Kikis gets any damage in. And that's why Unicorns have to focus around the Baron now as well and have that option at least open where you might have to force Gambit out. Because there's 2 dragons for 2, so there's not going to be any 5th dragon.
For a while.
For a while. Gambit is... He's going to have to just sit back and defend here. And if they do think there's a chance Unicorns are doing Baron, either you just give it up and you check it with the Ezreal ulti, or you walk out and you try and stop them there. But you need TP ready for Cabochard before you really can do anything for Gambit.
You do here on the hunt, Hylissang connected with Death Sentence. There's no more minions in this top tower. You do see the Lantern forcing Unicorns of Love there to back away. Vardags took a lot of damage. Super Mega Deathrocker connects with the True Shot Barrage, goes way wide. Betsy unable to find another kill.
Oh,
keeps him alive again. All of a sudden, Diamond's the one that gets focused down from the unleashed power. Gambit trying to chase while all that's going on. Kikis has been able to trade back and forth. Cabochard was not with the team in that fight. Keep that in mind. Zap will connect onto Chachi, as will the Dredge line. And he manages to lantern away. The Death Sentence connects, and they turn it around. Edward goes down. Hylissang is on fire. And the Unicorns of Love are not done yet. Kikis looks for Pinoy. He exhausts him, he smites him, he slams him, and that is so much damage. PowerOfEvil with his 3rd kill in a row in the top lane. Compliments of a gift-wrapped Shaco. Fantastic play from Unicorns. Looked scary, looked risky, but they got a bunch of kills. Don't lose anybody. 2 True Shot Barrages do not fly true on behalf of Betsy.
Unicorns are just showing what they can do in the best out of 5 series with new picks, new playstyles. I mean, how do you prepare for a pick like Shaco? You don't sit before the week and say, oh, they're going to play Shaco for sure. Here's what we should do. So you have to just simply figure out what to do on the fly. Now, the chasing on the Vardags here, Hylissang is just on fire. Like, everything he does is nearly perfect. Lands the hook, they disengage again, they keep kiting around. Kikis is fighting Cabochard, but he's gonna run all the way from that bottom lane up to join his team. He has the Moby boots as well. Eddie thinks he gets a catch here on Chachi. Lantern comes in and then pulled right back into the team.
Unreal. I just can't get over the burst damage. He manages to jump right in there. Deceive. So there's the Smite, Exhaust, Ravenous Hydra, and even uses the Hallucinate to just get out of range. Oh. Fantastic, fantastic play from the Unicorns. It did not result in more towers, but it has increased their gold lead to 5,000. Given enough gold to PowerOfEvil to get another needlessly large run. He's 5-1. And his most played, most successful champion.
Yeah, Rylai's is normally not a great item in this early in the game for a Syndra, because again you delay some of your core items like the Death Cap, like the Void Staff. But in this situation where all they're doing is kite, kite, then it fits into the comp. They do have a ping on the Baron now, so that's great. Cabochard can still
Trinity Force.
Just basically sit back. I mean, if you also
Trinity Force Tiamat Shaco, by the way. Edward's been caught, he's been hooked, and he's gone.
If you look at the build though from Cabochard, he's building for team fights, but he's having to deal with Kikis. Like, look at the MR on him. That's not going to do anything against Kikis here in this situation. No Ninja Tabi or just pure armor stacking from him, so he can't do anything in the 1-on-1. Now, Unicorns, it's the Baron we mentioned a few times. Okay, you can hook everyone else, but apparently not the Baron.
It's the simplest shots that are the hardest to land. Flash is available for Diamond, as is Javelin. There is some opportunity. Cabochard is teleporting in for this one. Gambit, one last desperate play. Onslaught of Shadows, he's looking for PowerOfEvil, not into the pit. That's not going to be enough. Baron secured by the Unicorns of Love, and Vizicsacsi's on the wrong side of the wall. The rest of Unicorns trying to fight this one off, and Cabochard threw himself at PowerOfEvil and not into the Baron pit. I have to question that call, as UOL now have even more pushing power.
Dragon, Gambit is moving there. They don't have Cabochard. He's in the top lane here. Unicorn should be able to stop this one. Box even blocked.
Jack in the box.
TP coming in.
Well, let's see. Chachi's going to look for a target, and Kikis is going to look to kill him. Flame Chompers and at least negate that route of approach. But look at the rest of Unicorns. Trying to come in from the river. They've bullied Gambit away with Baron buff and a 7k gold item lead will secure their third dragon of the game. Utterly uncontested.
And the worst part is, nothing is really going to change. Kikis is only going to get stronger and stronger in his split push. Vardags, he is left on his own though. I'm not sure why he was pushing up. Let's see if he can escape.
Well, we'll see. Let's have the mark on. He's going to carry on auto-attacking, put a lot of damage on Diamond. He's going to decide to turn it around, and he gets the kill. Vardags gets the kill and outplays Diamond.
It's not over yet,
Such
Trevor.
well played.
Noi is setting a trap for himself.
Oh, he's so much trouble. Not going to get the crits he's looking for. Face of the mountain shield from Hylissang will keep Vardags alive, and Vardags 3-1-4. With the Baron buff empowered minions in 30 seconds before Pinoy's back up. Unicorns barreling towards those inhibitor turrets.
And who do you name MVP here, Trevor? For me, Hylissang and Kikis have been just equally good. All 4 games, sorry. For them, they're gonna get inhibitor.
So difficult. There's nothing to contest this. Unicorns of Love will lose a hallucinated clone as the only cost for another inhibitor. PowerOfEvil takes a big chunk from that javelin toss, but it does not matter. Kikis, wow!
700 crit.
If you want to talk about style, Kikis is trying to finish this one. Betsy now unable to sit on the inhibitor turret thanks to the damage Kikis has put down. Inhibitor number 2 going to fall. Vizicsacsi got that vengeful maelstrom up. If anyone decides to jump in, that's a death sentence! And there's your MVP for me. Edward will follow. Cabochard trying to run amok in the back line. He will find PowerOfEvil, but it does not matter. Hylissang plus Kikis are carrying Unicorns of Love to the semi-finals in their debut split of the 2015 season. Unicorns advance to the top 4. Advance to do battle with SK Gaming in Madrid, Spain.
Yes!
Started dramatically.
It did.
It started with fantastic performance
Ended with a
from
Shaco.
Gambit. And ended with an unkilled 2-0-6 split pushing Shaco. What a series of games from the Unicorns of Love. They said they were better in best of 5s. They showed it, they proved it.
Yeah, for sure. Such a good series for them. And you look at the pick and ban phase, we were talking so much about, oh, Morgana, now you have to ban it away because Hylissang is playing so well. Well, he just got another champion where he can make the same plays, and he did. And also, you suddenly gave the Maokai over to Unicorns of Love, and they just changed up the pick and ban phase. They didn't have to go for this, super late game, long-range poke competition. This was a lot more early to mid-game, a lot more engaged, focused, or in this case, more disengaged because of the Shaco with the split push. Great to see Gambit, though.
Yeah, fantastic.
Keeping it cool.
Fantastic to see their attitude. Big smiles across the board. And for a team like Gambit, they're still discovering themselves. They're still really growing.